Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are continuing our study on Henrik Ibsen's adults. In today's study, we will consider Act 2 of Episode 3. In this episode, we see Nora once again try to broach the subject of Krogstad being kept at the bank, because we are able to see Torvald keen on sacking Krogstad. What Nora tries to do in this episode is that she cleverly broaches the subject, and in broaching the subject, she starts by stating that she wanted Torvald so much. She would want Torvald to recognize the fact that it is always nice of her to do as Torvald wishes. And that is when Torvald then again shows his chauvinistic character by saying that really Nora, suggesting that Nora should not require the credit on that, but that Nora should always do as her husband wishes. Since Torvald sees Nora as unreliable, she tactfully asks Torvald if she would want his little squirrel to run about and do all her tricks. And if Torvald would be nice, then Nora, who is his skylark, would chirp about in every room. So the use of the word chirp there is an onomatopoeic word, and it is used there to show that Nora is quite unreliable. She cashes in on the names that Nora, that he always used on Nora, and Nora then again, in a way of submitting to the names that Torvald uses, the skylark, the squirrel, she tries to show that really she is the woman who Torvald considers her to be. And then all these, that is in page 57, she does to put Torvald in the mood so that she can bring up Krogstad's issue, an issue that Torvald had previously brought a stop to. Nora then tells Helmer that he must let Krogstad keep his post at the bank. I want us to go through some of the reasons as to why Nora feels that Torvald should keep Krogstad at the bank. The first one, Nora tells Torvald that Krogstad works with scurrilous newspapers, and what she means by scurrilous newspapers is that Krogstad works with the newspapers that normally spread scandalous claims about people, and the intention of such scurrilous newspapers is to defame these people. So then this one brings out Nora as dishonest, because the reason as to why she would want her husband Torvald not to sack Krogstad is that Krogstad threatened that in an event that he is sacked, then he is going to detail to Torvald the secrets about Nora's forgery. This one brings out Nora as dishonest. In bringing her out as dishonest, we see at play the dramatic irony, because as the readers, we are aware of the real reason as to why Nora does not want Torvald to really sack Krogstad at the bank. The second reason that Nora also gives, Nora tries to reinforce her point through flashback. They flash back to a point whereby Nora's father was also defamed by these same people of scurrilous newspapers. And during that time, were it not for the appointment of Torvald by the department, then could be Nora's papa could have been sacked. He could have given his way at his job. That is the second reinforcement that Nora gives to her point. Then again, Nora also finally begs Torvald that they ought to be snug and have no cares. And that is another reason as to why Nora would want Torvald to keep Krogstad at the bank, that they should not really search for troubles. Now that Torvald is going to be appointed at the bank, then they should be safe, they should be comfortable, and then they should be happy. Again, when Torvald hears of Nora's plea, really Torvald would hear none of Nora's plea. And these are the reasons as to why Torvald would not hear of Nora's plea. Number one, Torvald already has Krogstad's job arranged for Mrs. Linde. Number two, he also states that the more Nora pleads with him, the more it will be impossible for him to keep Krogstad at the bank. And the reason as to this brings out Torvald's chauvinistic nature, that he would not really welcome any piece of advice, any direction from a woman. He comes out as chauvinistic. Again, something that Torvald had also told Nora earlier is Krogstad's moral failings. Krogstad's immorality and corruption would also not let Torvald keep him at the bank. Then again, something that Torvald feels that is inexcusable, something he would inexcuse is that he would not excuse is that Krogstad normally adopts some familiarity tone with him, and he fears a point whereby while working at the bank, then Krogstad will lay no restraint on himself, and maybe when in front of people, Krogstad may say, "I say, Helmer, old fellow," and such statements Torvald feels that would make his job at the bank almost intolerable. And that is in page 60, where Torvald details the reasons as to why he feels that he would not work comfortably with Krogstad at the bank. After that, we see Nora becoming insensitive, and he says that Torvald's point of view is narrow-minded. When Krogstad hears, when Nora hears, when Torvald hears that his point is narrow-minded, then he becomes emotional and decisive. And in becoming emotional and decisive, he sends the maid with Krogstad's dismissal letter. And in this, we are able to see Torvald add salt to injury. In this, we see Nora foreseeing a tragic end to their relationship and family when she tells Torvald to call back the maid, as this issue of the dismissal letter that has been sent is going to bring unhappiness in their home. We are also able to see incredibly Torvald's optimism. Torvald comes out as optimistic, and in becoming optimistic, he seems to console Nora out of her anxiety. He uses an abusive language on Krogstad by saying that Nora needs not to fear or needs not to be anxious about a starving quill driver. He feels Nora's fear is an insult to him, but then again, he also feels that what Nora says is an eloquent love to him, is an eloquent show of love for him. Torvald then gives a very important promise in this text by telling Nora that come what will, Nora may be sure that he will have both the courage and strength if be needed, and she will see that he is man enough to take everything upon himself. And this is really what is captured in the soliloquy by Nora in page 62. Earlier on, we had said that a soliloquy is an aspect of style whereby writers make their characters to speak to themselves. And in the soliloquy, we see Nora foreseeing a situation whereby Torvald may be capable of taking everything upon himself and pleading guilty for all whatever crimes, and specifically the crime of forging the signature and taking everything upon himself. And this idea in Nora is reinforced by what is in page 46. In page 46, Torvald tells Nora that he is not so heartless as to condemn a man altogether because of a single false step. Nora has also made a single false step, and she believes that Torvald may stay true to his word. Then again, this is reinforced again by what is in page 53, when Nora tells Linde that Torvald is so absurdly fond of her that he wants Nora absolutely for himself. Then added on top of what is in page 62, where Torvald states that come what will, Nora may be sure that Torvald will have both the courage and strength if they be needed, and that he will be man enough to take everything upon himself. All these things lead Nora to her soliloquy in page 62, where she now looks forward to a time where, when her secret is out, then Torvald can come forward and take everything upon himself, and he can plead guilty of all Nora's failings and undoing. What is also important in this episode is Nora's genuine love for Torvald. We are able to see Nora's genuine love for Torvald, and Torvald himself says that Nora's fear of Krogstad is a genuine show of love to him. And we will later on contrast Nora's genuine show of love with Torvald's appearance of love, or what we can call a facade of love, or just a mere charade. It will be interesting to compare and contrast these two levels of love by Nora and Torvald. Viewers, that brings us to the end of episode 3 in this text. The next time we meet, we will be looking at episode 4. If you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly remember to subscribe, like, and comment on our videos.